Lost is on.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our supersized, bite-sized Thursday. We are watching Lost because it's good, right?
Yeah.
This week, we are going to cover Exodus Part 2 and Part 3 because it was aired as a single finale. And, Jared, can you tell them why we're covering those both at once?
So originally we split this into 3 episodes of bite size because they're 3 episodes. But because the disc we're watching it on has 2 and 3 combined, and it was aired that way, and for the life of me, I cannot figure out without reading line by line where the split is or having the timeline put up on the actual screen the whole time, we're just going to combine 2 and 3.
A long story short, we're kind of lazy here at Off Slate Media, and we are proud of it. Ain't that right?
Yes.
All right. Anybody got any initial thoughts going into this?
I know the gist of what happens. I know certain things that blow up in their face. I know what happens with the raft, kinda, and I know something happens with Aaron, right? Not you, baby Aaron.
I understand.
I that's all I remember. I don't even know if we see any others, do we, outside of anything with the raft?
Well, we see the others in the raft.
Okay, so the raft is a big story perspective, and then, of course, we'll have all the flashbacks that bring it all together of them boarding the plane together. And we forgot to mention last week we met a character that is important in the next season, Ana Lucia.
Oh, yeah.
Michelle Rodriguez. She meets Jack at the airport bar. And I was like, oh, yeah. And she says she's in the tail, which, yep, she's one of the new characters in the next season. So, yeah. I forgot to mention that completely. And I also wanted to mention that Michelle Rodriguez, though not very big, would kill all 3 of us without breaking a sweat.
I will say that they laid that out perfectly because, you know, the people that Boone talks to, they end up being the tail section. Well, of course it's the tail section. Why would any of us question that? But we all questioned it so much.
Like, are the tail people still alive? Where did the tail end up?
Yeah. They planned that out so well throughout the course, just kind of sprinkling it a little bit throughout this first season. It's pretty impressive to me.
Yeah. I think I said how this season is last week. The season is very well planned out and very well structured. Watching all the flashback, like every week of flashbacks to get to the end where you're flashing back with everyone and you know where they've been and who they are for the most part. And the way it's set up is so good. And the reason this one I remember working better as a story outside of season 4, better than all the others, is because it's the starting point. They can do basically anything. Mm-hmm. Once you have to build upon it, and once there's the hype around the mystery of it, you start to it gets harder. So right now is why, and this is the peak, like we said last week.
Yeah, like we said last week, it's the peak. I remember catching up with it with my parents because they had bought in the season on the DVD, and just like I remember the last shot is Jack and Locke looking down in the hatch, and just that camera. And like now I know that it's like, you know, computer graphics and everything, but
at the time
it was like, how deep does this go? What is going on?
How deep does this go? Does this go? How deep does this go?
Or
right?
Yes. Or the more cliche, how deep does the rabbit hole go?
How deep does it go? And that's the first disc of season 2 is that shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is them staring down. Again, the menus are so good.
Before we get into the episode, we have to tell Aaron our story from the other week. Oh. So if you all can see, we have a bit of a new setup here. We got some upgraded mics. We got some extra cameras. See, there's Aaron. There's Jared, there's me, there's all 3 of us. So, Jared and I are sitting down here, setting all this up. We're kind of struggling with it. It took a couple of days to figure out how to get to work correctly. And we start hearing this, like, screaming, just like faintly, just like off in the distance, like
that.
Oh, no.
And like we've been down here before, and Jared has like heard things, but I haven't heard them, and so we just kind of assume that Jared hears things in his head, and I'm not really joking about that. But so how long were you hearing?
Do you want me to tell this half of it?
Yeah.
I'm standing right over by where you are because we had been hooking up cameras, and I hear the scream. They're like, ah! And I just like, and I look, and he looks up. So I go, "You heard that?" And it's like, "I'm not crazy. You heard that?" He goes, "Yeah." And then I look down. I realize the Blu-ray plays. The volumes. We're hearing the menu. Somehow I got turned down, and we're just hearing the screaming from the menu.
How long were you hearing that before you said something, though?
I heard it like an hour before, faintly, but didn't think anything of it. And we were working with audio and camera, so it's like we weren't paying attention. But once it was quiet, we could hear it. But that probably played on a loop for like 5 hours. But the projector's not on, so we didn't see anything. We just heard it. Because the audio is separate from the projector.
And if any of you are aware of where we are recording, we are in a very, very terrifying basement to be alone in. So it was kind of bone-chilling, would you say?
I kind of got used to it. I was just like, that's weird. But then when you looked up...
Jared's weird.
Yeah, but when you looked up, I was like, oh, this isn't just me. Okay.
I still remember that one time you're like, did you just hear a little girl laugh?
And you looked at me like, and I was like, oh no. So yeah, a little funny story about the Lost menus. But those menus are awesome. And I wish DVDs, Blu-rays, whatever, their menus, there's more thought put into them these days.
Ever since Blu-rays became a thing, the thought put into menus has gone.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Aaron, you got anything to say about these two episodes?
Nope, we'll get to it.
You remember anything about them?
Yes, some specific things that I'm not going to get into now.
Okay, I see. Well, with that, I guess we are going to get into this episode. So let's go ahead and get lost. Welcome back, everybody. We just watched the season 1 finale of Lost, called Exodus Part 2 and Part 3.
We lumped them.
This is our supersized episode. What do we got for thoughts?
This is a good season. Mm-hmm. I like how the end of it is all of them getting on the plane. Like, that's how the flashbacks all functioned. We knew that while watching the season, even having seen it, and just it's cool to see them all converge at the end there. They all get on the plane. They all find their way to the plane, and they're all interacting with each other. Us knowing now how they are in the present, and then this is like, oh yeah, here's their little interaction before they knew each other. Mm-hmm. The best Jack and Locke will ever get along is when they look at each other on the plane, they just nod. Just as normal people. A man of science and a man of faith.
Is this the first time that we have seen the security system be black smoke?
I think it's the first time in full we've seen it, because we saw the little hue go by, and he says to Kate, "Did you see that?" "Yeah, I saw that." That sound right, Aaron?
That sounds right.
And then we see it grab Locke and drag him through the jungle, forest, whatever it is.
Into the hole?
Almost into the hole.
I mean, he was in the hole.
Yeah, and then they threw the dynamite down. She did say,
I
die.
really think she said, die! I think she did. But that might just be me.
Yeah.
Come on, Aaron. Give us a smile.
So, at this moment, because it's TV and it's early 2000s TV specifically, not cliffhangers every single place, but quite a bit of cliffhanger.
Yep.
The raft being the biggest one. Like the hatch, you could argue, is the biggest one, but that's more of a, okay, we got this open, what is in there? But the other one is like, oh, we found people in a boat and they took Walt. Sawyer got shot. Jin jumped in after him, and then Michael's just floating by the sodding boat on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not
the
like
raft is on fire, not Michael.
Yeah. So to clarify, the sodding boat is on fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite at Smallville season 1 finale levels where everyone's in their own little. It wasn't because the tornado.
Yeah, because Jonathan is fighting that one guy that knows Clark's secret. Lana's in the tornado.
And Clark's with her, right? With the truck.
Wow.
Well, no, the last scene of season 1 is Clark running into the tornado.
That's it. It's like everyone has their little cliffhanger because they have to you come back in, 4 months?
But then, like, Annette O'Toole, his mom, is pregnant in that season, I think.
That might be 2? I don't know.
There's a big cliffhanger about, is she going to lose the baby? And then they had the Lifehouse at the school dance, which, what high school in Kansas pays for Lifehouse?
And they sing the opening theme.
No.
Isn't it? Yeah.
No, Remy Zero. It's
Remy Zero.
Lifehouse is another one of the dances. And I don't know what season it's in, but Lifehouse is there at some point. But Remy Zero is playing their school prom, and like Pete goes, "Yeah, Remy Zero," and it's just the weirdest thing I have ever seen on television.
Yeah. My point being that, and not just early 2000s, it's just a TV thing to have your season finale on drama shows have all these different big cliffhangers. And this one,
and then it only gets tied up in the first 10 minutes of the season.
Oh yeah, that's how they get you. The only important parts of a lot of episodes are the first 10 and the last 10. The 20 in the middle is often just filler. But this one, like, it's a good finale. And when half of your show is flashbacks, to have them all link up like that, it's great. I can't remember how season 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 does it. Well, actually, I remember 6, but the
I would hope you would remember 6. That's literally the end.
I'm saying for the other half of the narrative, because like 6 is a similar thing to 1, and then 4 is the going backwards. But then 2 and 3 specifically are doing the same thing that 1 does, where it's all flashbacks for characters, but we're going backwards in their timeline often because it's like, oh, what happened before they got on the flight? And I don't remember how they all link up, because when you get to the season 2 finale and the 3 finale, it's how do the flashbacks all come together? And I don't think they do. I don't think they're supposed to. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes season 1 special. Yeah. It's a well-structured season. Mm-hmm. And again, without having expectations and lore to build on, they it's kind of it's a sandbox for them. They can make whatever they want now. And that's why I think I've heard a lot of people it's their favorite season. And it's a much more grounded show in 1. There's supernatural elements, but it's because we haven't gotten wonky yet, which I'm excited for the wonkiness.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not for me just because I've seen it so many times.
Yep.
Like Aaron. How many times have you seen it now?
I don't know, 4 or 5. Season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you sick of it?
I mean, not necessarily.
Stunning review.
So, you received season 1, this disc right here on the table. You received that for Christmas back in what year was that?
Would have been Christmas of 2010, I believe.
Okay, so
yeah.
Did they release these, do you know, year to year as this, or do you think they put out all of them around the same time?
No, they released them year to year.
They did, so it was a couple years old at that point.
Right.
But still, like, you got the first one. Did you buy the rest then?
Not me personally.
Okay, so it was bought for you?
Yes.
So that all 6 were Christmas presents?
No.
No.
So I'm pretty sure what happened was we as a family watched season 1 and then got to the finale. And since none of us had really been into whatever serialized television like this before, we got to the finale and we're like, oh my gosh, we need to go buy season 2. So we did.
Okay, that
and
makes
then,
a lot of sense, yeah.
Yeah. Kept going.
I did that with Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah.
It was funny, the finale of the whole show aired in like September or October of 2013. I was in college, and everyone was going nuts about the ending. And I remember hearing about the show for years at that point, and I was even more hesitant then to start shows unless I knew it ended well. 'Cause why would I spend all that time if the ending sucks? Is my thing.
You are really gonna hate Smallville then.
Yep. But I'm this far in, might as well keep going. But that one was like, okay, everyone's going nuts over this ending, like one of the great TV shows of our time, or maybe ever. I'll give it a shot. And I think like that night, I went home, or I went to work. I was working at Meijer at the time, and I went over to they used to have physical copies of things in Meijer, believe it or not. But they had like a whole big section, and there's Breaking Bad season 1, and I bought the DVDs and watched through it, and then I bought season to season as I watched through it. So yeah, it's kind of fun to look back at when we buy those and why we buy those. Like again, it sounded like you went season to season with your family. So
Yeah.
You didn't buy any of them, or you bought?
I don't think I bought any of them.
Gotcha.
May I tell my Smallville story about watching seasons and buying seasons like that?
Yeah, of course.
So, you gotta understand the early 2000s were obviously a different time, and so Smallville was a thing that was syndicated on ABC Family for a long time, but it would stop at a certain season, and I never knew why. I was like, was the show just done? And this is kind of me being able to go on the internet because my parents only had dial-up still at that time. So it would end at the end of season 3, and then it would start over, and I was like, what the heck? So I go to college, and it's 2005, right? The 5th season is about to start. I learned that they released the 4th season on DVD, and I was like, hey, Drew, do you want to go to Best Buy? Why would I want to go there? Smallville. So we go to Best Buy, we get the DVDs, and I come back, and I watched the entire 4th season. This was the 4th season complete box set. I watched the entire season in 24 hours.
No.
Yes.
That means you didn't sleep.
Correct.
That's like 21 hours.
I know.
For that show?
I was hooked, and then I went back and got the 1st season and watched that, and 2nd season, 3rd season, so on. I got Drew to record the entire 5th season. I was so pumped on that show for so long. It was so weird looking back on it now.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my story. My sad little freshman life. That's kind of like how I beat Kingdom Hearts in about as much time. One time when I sprained my ankle and had to stay in my dorm for an entire weekend. Anyway, back to Lost. What else do we notice about this finale? It's a good finale. How much more is there actually to really say about it?
We all agreed that Hugo seeing the numbers on the hatch would have been a bigger reveal if it wasn't shown to us a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When that last shot where it goes right up to the numbers on the side, it's like that's a cool reveal. I might even said then, oh, I really like that. I like how, and then now it's like, no, that would have been better if we saw it in this moment where he sees something, he shines the light, and then he freaks out. It's like, oh, that would have been way better. But again, it's used to keep us watching earlier.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm thinking is, don't you think that they kind of tore the rug out from underneath themselves with that black smoke that the others lit when Charlie and Saeed go to the beach, and it was just, was the impression that you got that it was Rousseau the entire time that lit the smoke, or that the others lit the smoke and she was just going to take them errand?
I didn't get that it was her that lit it until you said something. I don't remember if it was on or off camera. And I go, that doesn't sound right, but also like he might be right. But then when it's, oh no, they did light that fire.
Okay.
She was bringing Aaron to them. That's how they knew where she was going. It's, oh, she's trying to make an exchange.
Okay, so it's kind of like the trick of the word trick of what boy are they coming from? Like, you don't think that it's Walt because it's not been Walt for the entire season.
So why did they light the fire? Were they tricking Rousseau to go there for some reason?
Scare tactics, I guess. I don't really know. What do you think?
I think she's nuts. And
obviously
heard something. I don't know. I don't remember how it all worked, but they lit the smoke, and somehow, it's a TV show. They're always one step ahead of them somehow. I mean, when you've lived there, because they've lived there their entire lives, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of them. You know that island like the back of your hand.
I mean, they can get around in whispers and whatnot.
That is true. Yeah, it's just there's something. Yeah, because I was thinking about this too. The mystery of stuff in media tends to almost always be more interesting before we're actually revealed.
Oh yeah, I mean this show definitely, because who we don't know now as Tom Friendly eventually gets revealed to like not have a beard and to not be, as
a super intimidating force,
as rough as what he looks on that boat. He looks very like been out at sea all the time kind of thing. And then, you find out in the different seasons that, oh, that beard is fake, and oh, it's not really like this, and oh, they're actually really civilized. And it's kind of like, is that a letdown?
Yeah, I don't know what you call it, because again, when you think about it, it's the unseen presence of them with the only thing we've actually seen before this episode, Ethan, is intimidating. It's a little terrifying because you never know where they're going to be, and you don't know who they are. And then once they're revealed to us, no matter what, the interest of the mystery is gone, because you have to shift it to, okay, how does this work? Because all the stuff we're going to learn in the next couple seasons is important stuff. It's just a different kind. It's less of a mystery and more of you're learning lore now instead of just wondering where this threat is coming from.
Yeah, and I think that trying to normalize the others is kind of a rocky. They built them up to be
a force to be reckoned
with, and they're just they just end up being so normie-ish.
Yeah. Again, that was going to happen, and they knew who the others were, the writers, like in the show. They knew who the others were at the start, probably. Not too in-depth, but it's like, okay, it's this group, they're here for this reason. How do we build this up at the end of the season? So I'm pretty sure they knew who they were, but again, they built it up so well as an unseen entity.
Well, and even into season 2, they keep that so well because you only get like 1 or 2 of them at a time. Or like it'll only be Tom that shows up in the middle of that field with Jack yelling at the torches. And then, if you remember, because it's a pretty big scene, he does the light 'em up thing and they're all just everywhere.
Yep, there's an intimidation that we lose.
Yeah. So now we're getting to the end of the first season. It's all starting to come back to me.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think we see too much of them in season 2, because season 3 is the big others season. Because 2 is the hatch, 3 is the others, 4 is the boat, so on. Yeah, and that's a smart way to structure this, is each season is around something. Season 1, you can make the case it's the beach, or Aaron, or just the plane crash in general. Is like they're wrapped around something, and for the subsequent seasons, they knew what to do. You got to have that unifying thing. At the current moment, it's like, yeah, this is a really good show. We got it. We'll see how the other seasons go, but it's a great start.
I really don't think it'll become a bad show until the 6th season.
Again, we'll see what happens. This first season, that's the other thing. The final thoughts on this season compared to the last time we watched it is an interesting thing. How did we all feel about comparing the last time to this time? I know you were more recent, Aaron, but
yeah.
We'll compare them.
I think for a lot of us, it's going to be hard to compare them like that because it's been so long since we've watched it. Like, when did you say the last time you watched it was?
It's been probably a couple, 2-3 years at this point.
Oh, okay. You've got a couple more years on me then.
Yeah. So well, Jake, how are comparing the gap between watches? How does season 1 compare?
I think season 1 is one of my least favorites, just because I enjoy that supernatural aspect of it. I enjoy the others is just such an interesting idea to me, and we don't know who they are. No, excuse me. We don't know who they are, and we don't know why are they doing all this and how are they getting all this done. And that's why I really like the 2nd season, because it's kind of got mystery of Island, but also mystery of others, and just finding out who they are, and when they still had an intimidating presence, which I always felt that they lost in the 3rd season.
You said the word.
I just always really liked the 2nd season. That's probably one of my favorite seasons. I know you don't like it, but
again, that was half my life ago.
That's fair.
It's interesting comparing them too, because the first time I watched it, it felt so much longer. Now it was just about as spread out. I watched it in a shorter amount of time than it took us literally to watch them. But it felt so much longer and so much, I don't even know, laid back almost. Like, there are episodes in the middle of the season that feel that way. We go golfing for half an episode.
We have that weird light as Charlie and Hurley, what were they doing, digging a hole?
Yeah. Something like that.
Did we have the episode, I don't remember, did we have the episode with a Volkswagen bus in this season?
I don't think so.
I don't know what season that is.
They all blend together.
It all happens at the same time in my head.
More happened than I remember the season, and less happened than I remember the season. Because all the stuff I remember is spread out through the whole show, but then there's a lot of the gaps in between that are like, oh yeah, and we've been saying that now for 20 some weeks. Oh yeah, I remember this. Oh yeah, I remember this.
Also, just reiterate that it really annoys me how they write Kate to be some sort of sympathetic character, but
she killed someone to get a toy plane.
Yes,
and I remember thinking that last week too. It's like, so you held up a bank and traumatized all those people and shot a guy to get a toy plane back. You're putting all this, all this emotion in the character, the connection, into something that is meaningful to her. But then when you step back just a little bit, you realize you did all that for this. I get this means something to you, but that's quite a bit of bad stuff you did just to get this. Yeah, just not a great character.
You can see why she's my least favorite character.
Oh, she's all of our least favorite character right now. We all jumped on board a couple weeks ago
because they want us to be sympathetic towards her, and her story is just not sympathetic. Like you could sell me at I wanted to hurt this person because he's hurting my mom. If it stopped there, you could sell me on that. You cannot sell me on I've now killed 37 people and I'm still running because my mom doesn't love me. You just can't.
Yeah, there's a limit to how much we can sympathize before it's like, okay, you just killed people willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's a pretty selfish thing. And you can have selfish characters. You can have, as like character flaws, but that's just...
Sawyer's kind of selfish.
Oh, he's very selfish.
Yeah.
Very hoarding stuff, taking stuff off dead bodies, and what do you say? They don't need it.
You still sympathize with him more because he didn't. Well, I mean, he
got dealt a bad hand.
He's killed people, but like it's not. It's different somehow. I don't know why. And don't say it's because Kate's a woman.
I didn't say that.
You thought it. You thought it.
Of course I did. It's you.
All right. Well, anybody got anything else for season 1 finale?
I'm trying to think. I feel like I did, but then it's a big chunk. So it's like maybe I lost bits and pieces of it along the way.
You said the thing.
Yeah, you got a piece of arts on you. That was this episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, that happened in the first chunk. Like, not even just the first, like the part
title.
2. Yeah, that's like the beginning of the episode where arts explodes. And we were saying how it's funny. He comes along to help them handle this, and he is useful in that regard, saying 90-degree heat. It's been sitting here a long time.
But then
nitroglycerin.
But then he does this with it.
And then he blows up anyway.
And then they do the exact same thing that he did when he blew up.
See, yeah, it's like the quick fix is like he does something wrong and it blows up. But no, he did everything right and he blew up. So maybe that is setting stakes for like, oh, this is the risk they're taking. But it's also like, I don't know if I would I'd be like, let's get out of here. We'll figure something else out.
I do appreciate that they're not afraid to kill people in this show. Like actually kill people. Whether they come back as ghosts is a different thing, but
yeah, and like
it's not like, oh, now I'm resurrected.
Yeah, and we tend to see them again in flashbacks when they are canonically alive. Mm-hmm. Like seeing Boone and Arts on the plane. Yeah. Like that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's not like an X-Files thing where someone died, but now they're going to come back because they were cloned.
or like somehow Palpatine returned or whatever.
I wasn't going to go there because we always end up at Star
Wars.
Yep.
Or like Loki dying 7 million times in the MCU.
See, that one's just funny.
See, that one's difficult because it could be funny, but also they're making fun of something that they did seriously, but they keep doing it to kind of excuse them doing it. So it's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to laugh at this. It's like it feels lazy. It's like, we're not going to think about it. We're just going to do it and just joke about it because people will laugh.
I mean, to be
LCD.
To be fair, this is not the MCU show.
No.
That we have. So, lost.
Yeah. Goodbye, Arts. Being a big baby and being pretty awful to Hugo on the way there, and we were all saying like, yeah, I think they're making him unlikable because once they get rid of him, you don't feel sad about him going. In a weird way, it's like we should because a person just died. Mm-hmm. They didn't do anything wrong, but then it's like, yeah, I bet you they did that to soften the blow. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh yeah, him accusing Hugo of hoarding the carbs was. That's mean. That's so mean.
All right. All right. Those are our thoughts on the season finale of season 1 of Lost. Next week, we're going to start one of my favorite seasons, season 2. If we all remember, that is the one with the button. But until then,
riveting.
Jared, where can they find us?
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, the funny TikTok, and X.
Formerly known as Twitter.
And you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. And hey, if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring that notification bell. Make sure you check us out and rate us on all those apps. And swing by our groovy website.
And other than that, why don't you come on back next week to Off Slate Media? It'll be a smaller episode of Bite Size as we continue to get lost.